Techniques don't manifest, but your state does. Although this may seem apparent, I recognize that some individuals may still be perplexed, and it is my objective to alleviate that confusion and return you to your genuine potential. States refer to our inner emotional and mental states, and they are crucial in the process of manifestation. When we shift our state, we change the way we feel and think, and this reflects in the physical world around us. Techniques, on the other hand, are only tools to help us change our state. Merely repeating affirmations without changing our inner state will not lead to success in manifestation. Instead, we need to focus on shifting our state and embodying the feeling of what we desire. The way you perceive and experience life is through your state, which can be compared to an avatar. Since creation is already complete, there are numerous versions of you that exist, each of them living in a different reality or timeline. Your state determines which version of you exists in the present moment and on which timeline you are currently situated. If you desire to win the lottery, there is already a version of you that has won it. However, simply knowing that one of your versions has won is not enough to bring you happiness. You want to experience that reality firsthand, and you can do that by embodying that version of yourself. Your state, which is determined by your thoughts and actions, is the key to manifestation. Simply repeating affirmations without truly believing and feeling them will not bring you what you desire. If you continue to focus on lack and believe that your desires are still out of reach, they will remain out of reach. This is because your internal state creates your external reality. To change your state and manifest your desires, you must use techniques correctly and live in the end result. This means that you should visualize and feel as though you have already achieved your desires, rather than focusing on the lack or what is yet to come. By doing this, you can shift your internal state and bring your desired reality into fruition. To ensure effective execution of your technique, it's essential to perform it correctly. This implies that you shouldn't be focused on the fact that you're using a technique. Instead, you should experience it as if it were a reality, just like you're presently watching this video. Your technique should be felt in the same way. This is what it means to feel it is real. Visualize your technique as a portal in time and space, and immerse yourself in that experience. When you affirm, avoid affirming with the intention of making something happen. Instead, affirm what you already have as if it were a reality. By doing so, you will experience the same level of realism and authenticity as when you declare that you're presently engaged in something you're doing to achieve your desire. You need to start living in the end. This means that you act and think like the person who has already achieved their goal. You must stop focusing on the lack of your desire and instead think and act as if you already have it. This requires a conscious effort on your part, and you must ignore the present reality and only focus on the end result. You can ask yourself whether you would be thinking or doing what you currently are. If you already had your desire, use your imagination to visualize yourself having what you want. And imagine how it feels, how you act, and what you watch or listen to. However, be careful not to turn living in the end into a technique, as this is counterproductive. Living in the end means that you know it is done, just as if someone from the future came back and told you it had already happened. To bring your desire into your reality, you must shift your state of being. This shift should occur naturally after you have successfully lived in the end, and acted as though you already have what you desire. When you change your state, you become the person who already possesses the desire. This means that your thoughts and actions throughout the day will naturally align with having your desire without any effort on your part. His thoughts will become your default mode of thinking and will feel natural and effortless. You will no longer focus on the lack or feel the need to do any techniques to remind yourself of your desire. The feeling of knowingness that you experience will be similar to knowing your name or where you live. The term miracle is often used by those who lack faith to describe what is accomplished through faith. According to the law of assumption, faith is the foundation of what we desire even when it is not yet visible. The idea that everything already exists is what inspires us to hope, and hope requires us to believe in the possibility of achieving our desires. Without this belief and expectation, the law of assumption cannot be effectively used. Essentially, the quote explains that faith and hope are essential components of manifestation, and that the law of assumption relies on the conviction that our desires are already within reach. The word evidence in this context refers to a sign or proof of reality. Therefore, this quote suggests that having faith means being aware of the reality of what you assume, having a conviction about the reality of things that are not visible, and having a mental perception of the reality of the invisible. Consequently, it's clear that lacking faith implies not believing in the existence of what you desire, since what you experience is a faithful reproduction of your state of consciousness. A lack of faith will result in continuous failure in consciously utilizing the law of assumption. Throughout the ages, faith has been a significant force evident in the world's major religions and woven into myths. However, its true meaning is often misunderstood nowadays. Despite common belief, faith is not effective due to external factors, but is entirely a product of one's consciousness. The Bible contains numerous statements about faith that most people are not aware of. To determine whether you have successfully transitioned into a new state, the key factor is the thoughts or words that arise from that state. For instance, suppose you are presently without work and your thoughts reflect this by consistently repeating statements such as "I need employment," "I require money," or "I don't have a job." In that case, these thoughts are originating from the state of being unemployed. To manifest your desire, the first step is to claim the new state of being that aligns with your desired outcome. For instance, if you desire to be employed, affirming "I am employed" is the best place to start. Once you claim the new state, allow the thoughts to naturally flow without forcing them. If you do not get an immediate thought following the newly claimed state, keep repeating it to yourself while feeling its truth. This will help you to naturally think from the state, and you will be given an immediate thought that aligns with it. Then it's important to hold on to this new state. Don't just think about it once and forget about it, going back to thinking "I am broke, I need money." However, it's also not natural to constantly think about being employed and feeling grateful for it throughout the day. You have other things in your life that you don't constantly think about but still have. If you consistently think from a state of abundance, eventually you will know that you are abundant. Don't worry about the details of how, when, or where this abundance will manifest. Just focus on the end result. If you find yourself in a situation of debt, what is the way out? The solution is to be free of debt. Visualize the sensation of all your bills being paid off, assume that feeling and allow your imagination to make it a reality. Take yourself to the end and contemplate how you would feel if it were a reality. Keep in mind that it is not only about experiencing the emotions but feeling the reality of it. Think about what you would see, hear how others would perceive you, and what actions you would take if this situation was already true. These inquiries aid us in adopting the state of being free from debt, but it's essential not to coerce anything while assuming the state. Pushing the assumption will only repel it. Start by assuming a state that surpasses your current thoughts, and naturally thoughts will follow from that state. Once you effectively adopt a state greater than your current thoughts, these thoughts will evolve into a conviction that surpasses your unease. Eventually you will forget about the anxiety since you know it's trivial in comparison. The assumption will materialize and you will realize that it was meant to be.